So it's going to be a little bit more humbling for me today, again, just because of what I've said is going on. All of us obviously are very well of the situation going on in Ukraine right now. And some of us may even be asking ourselves, is this really happening? Again, in the 21st century, the second decade of the 21st century, we thought this type of behavior and ideology was a thing of the past. And, you know, they say if you don't remember the past, you are inclined to repeat it. Sadly, unfortunately, what is happening is very real. And in addition to that, some of you may also know I had a very, 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 very dear friend transition just a week ago today, taken off life support. She was 28 years old, left behind 3 absolutely beautiful children, a husband, a mom, a dad, and more friends than I could think of. And so in light of everything that is happening, I find myself asking, you know, where is God in all of this? And where is the love in all of this? And of course, if you're familiar with our philosophy and what we say here at Centers for Spiritual Living, you know that we say God is everywhere and that God is in everything. But even understanding this and knowing this, I still struggle to understand, you know, what is going on right now and how to make sense of this. So for my talk today, I wanted to address these 2 questions and perhaps try to make some sense of it. If not for you, then perhaps maybe for myself. But these 2 questions, where is God in all of this? And where is love in all of this? Where is the love? And as we know that God is pure and unconditional love. And does this hold truth for a person named Vladimir Putin, who many now are seeing perhaps, hopefully not, but very well perhaps, the second coming of Adolf Hitler? And then where is the love in a soul that decides to transition at just 28 years old, leaving behind 3 young, beautiful children, 4 years old, 6 years old, and 9 years old? And along those lines, as I ask these questions, I struggle also with, where is the love that we see? Oops, so I apologize. Where's the love that we see in things like famine, poverty, homelessness, the vast difference that we see around the world between the haves and the have-nots, the rich countries, the poor countries, the freedom of speech, the freedom of press, or as we're seeing play out in Russia right now and China, the lack thereof of freedom of speech and freedom of press. I ask myself humbly, and all of you humbly here today, what does all this mean? Where is God in all of this? Where is the love in all of this? Of course, we know, we say again that God is everywhere, everything, unconditional love, whole love, perfect love, complete love. My life is unfolding now just as it is. That life is perfect. How would anyone respond to that when they were just bombed? When their house was literally, when their entire life was just literally torn apart? I don't have an answer to that question. Does that understanding help us to understand what is going on in the world with war, poverty, hunger, or even for those that are struggling with depression, fear, anxiety, or addiction of some sort? And I'll be completely honest that I don't have a valid answer to these questions that may help myself understand more, or that may help you understand more, or anyone listening on YouTube. Now, I don't have an answer, at least from a spiritual perspective. Geopolitical, of course I could answer that. That's very easy. We just have to study history. But if I had to take my best educated guess at it, I would say this. That the truest, most authentic, purest God that we speak of, the unconditional God that is pure, authentic love, is found in the human spirit, and not when times are easy, but rather when times are difficult. The true warriors, then, if I can use that word, the true heroes, are the ones who show us what love really looks like, and are the ones who are facing life's most hardest and most difficult challenges. Those challenges coming in the forms that I have mentioned already several times: war, poverty, hunger, famine, and states of being such as fear, depression, anxiety, and even suicide. Again, I ask you this question: where is the love in all of this? Perhaps, maybe, and again, this is my best educated guess, it is in the form of compassion and empathy and the willing to help out, as so many around the world are doing right here, right now. Whether it is to fight hunger, poverty, or even those that are volunteering on the front lines, either in a military capacity or in a humanitarian capacity. Where is God then? Where is love then? My answer to that is, it's in the eyes, hearts, and spirits of those who endure life's harshest challenge. If it was not for them, how would we know what true love is? How would we know what compassion looks like? How would we know what empathy looks like? The heroes are the ones we call in our society who go forward to stamp out the inhumanities and the discrepancies of the world. But I might say that the true heroes are the ones who must endure the inhumanities of the world, the ones who must endure the indiscrepancies of the world. And of course, in any situation like this, there's always the question, what can I do? How can I help? I want to help. I have that burning desire to help, to do something. That's a very natural human desire. It's a very natural question to ask. And there are many who are answering that question, what can I do? And I would pose to everyone here that these are very valid questions. But I would humbly answer this question by saying, do not look to what you can do or how you can help, but rather look to who you are and how you can be. We look at rich countries versus poor countries. We see that in modern developed countries, the United States, Canada, England, Australia, that where citizens live a more affluent life, a more abundant life, clean water, electricity, plenty of food, as we see. Yet these same folks are also many times filled with fear, agitation, anxiety, depression, even competition with one another over resources, something as silly as toilet paper and Kleenex tissue. We saw this happen here in the United States over the last 2 years with the COVID pandemic. People began hoarding here in this country, the richest country in the world. People began hoarding Kleenex tissue because they were worried that they might not have enough. What can you do? How can you help? Again, I humbly answer this question by saying and offering you this. Look to emulate and be like those who are enduring the harshest challenges that life has to offer. Look to be humble. Look to be courageous. Look to be strong in the face of danger and adversity, whatever that means for you. For in that you will find the most highest. Again, what can you do? How can you help? I humbly answer this, that look to emulate and be like those that are enduring some of the harshest challenges that life has to face. Look to be humble, look to be courageous, look to be strong. For in that you will find God. the highest, purest, most unconditional form of God that we talk about. For in that you will find love, the highest, purest, most authentic form of love that we talk about here at Centers for Spiritual Loving. And in that moment, when you choose to emulate those who are being courageous, being strong in the most adverse challenges that life has to offer, you will find something else. You will find something as great as the most pure, authentic love, as the most pure, authentic oneness of God that we speak about. And that's something that you will find is you. You, your truest self, your highest self. Again, I ask you the question, where is the love in everything that is going on in the world, especially now? And I tell you this, humbly, respectfully, that the love found that we desire right here, right now, is in the hearts and souls of the Ukrainian people. It is in the hearts and souls of those that are living in what we label as extreme poverty. It is in the hearts and souls of those dealing with PTSD, with crippling anxiety, depression, fear, and even those that are dealing with thoughts of suicide. Because it is in our darkest hours that our brightest light shines. Our brightest lights cannot shine when the area around us is already well lit. When we already have food, when we already have electricity, when we already have clean water, our area is well lit. It can only shine when the area around us is dark. And sadly, once again, we are seeing some of the darkest parts of humanity play out in front of us. Something we thought that we would never see again. Never again, they said. Yet here we are. Sadly, we see our darkest hours playing out in war, poverty, hunger, depression, and fear. And sadly, in order for there to be a light, there must be a darkness. And however the world works, the darker the darkness, the brighter, purer the light. And perhaps maybe, just maybe, in my humble offering of trying to explain anything and everything, trying to make sense of anything, maybe, just maybe, that is why we see things such as war, poverty, hunger, famine, depression, fear. So again, I ask you, where is the love? Where is God in all of this? I humbly answer that again, while God is everywhere and everything, it is most abundant in our darkest hour. For it is the darkest hour that reveals our truest self of who we are. I don't ask what you can do, I ask who you can be. And you see that if you look beyond despair into the soul of anyone currently experiencing what we label to be the darkest hours of humanity, war, poverty, depression, and so on, you will find that brightest lights. Back to the question I just asked a moment ago also, what can you do? What can I do? What can anyone do? And again, I humbly offer, do not look to what you can do, but look to who and what you can be. Be humble, not when it is easy, but when it is hard. Be strong, not when it is easy, but when it is hard. Be courageous, not when it is easy, but when it is hard. Be empathetic, be compassionate, not when it is easy and the area is well lit, but when it is hard. Be compassionate, not because there is a situation that requires you to be compassionate, such as war, famine, or poverty, but be compassionate because that is who you truly are. That is the real you. So what can you do? Do nothing. Do nothing and be everything. Not when it is easy, not when times are good, but when it is hard. And times, as we see now, for many people around the world, especially Ukraine right now, are not good. That is where love is found. That is where God is found, not in the light, but in the darkness. For it is the darkness that allows our light to shine brightest. I mentioned at the beginning about my friend who transitioned at 28 years old. I humbly offered that she was a shining example of not what you can do, but of who you can be. And not who you can be when your area is well lit, not who you can be when life is easy, when you have a full stomach, when you have a warm bed, when you have a hot shower, but who you can be when life is hard, when life knocks you down. I don't have time to get into her entire story, but I knew her very well. And I knew the adversity that she faced and a tremendous amount of difficulty that she faced. Yet even in the midst of all of her adversity and challenges that she faced, she allowed her light to shine so bright that in one instant moment, only about 1 second, maybe two, her light infected me. Now, what do I mean by that her light infected me? I, like all of you, have struggled with my own journey of love. Where is love? What is love? And when it was one of the darkest hours of my point, trying to understand what love is, Anna, her name, shared her light with me. And because she shared her light with me in her darkest hour, when she was struggling, dealing with whatever adversity she had going on in her life, for the first time in my life, it allowed me to say 3 simple words: I love you. And not only say them, but mean them. I love you. I love you. Allow your light to shine, not when it is bright, but when it is dark. She did that, not by doing, even though she did many things. She was a mom, a wife, skin care technician, and a nail technician. She had her own business. She was an adamant volunteer, outstanding member of her community. She did many things, but it's not what she did. It's who she was. And she lived by her true self, her true authentic being, even when life was not easy. And that's all I'm asking. Be who you were meant to be. Be who you are supposed to be, not when life is easy, but when life is hard. And so what matters for you, for me, for any of us watching at home, watching anywhere on YouTube, is not so much how we die. She had a heart attack at 28 years old. It does not matter so much how we die, but what matters is how we live. What matters is how we live. And so to the people of Ukraine right now, to the people dealing with extreme poverty, depression, fear, anxiety, I very politely, humbly, and respectfully would like to say to you, thank you. Thank you for showing me personally what true love and courage is. Thank you for showing me what true strength and bravery is, not in times of easiness, but in times of hardness and times of darkness. Thank you for being the angels that myself and many of us around the world need. Thank you for being an angel in my life. And to anyone as well experiencing again what we label as these dark parts of humanity, I also say to you very humbly and respectfully, thank you. Thank you for being the brave, courageous, inspiring souls that you all are. For without you, me, myself personally, perhaps many of you at home or many people around the world would not fully grasp the answer to that question, where is God? Where is God found and where is love found? And so as I wrap this up, again, it's not what you can do or how you can help. It is who you can be and how are you being. So as you leave here today, who are you being? Who are you being when someone cuts you off in traffic? Who are you being when your room is well lit? Who are you being when you go to bed with a full stomach? Who are you being not when life is easy, but when life is hard? If you would like to see an example, a real live example of what I'm talking about and what this looks like, or 2 examples, or 3 examples, or 4 examples, I humbly ask that you look to the citizens of Ukraine, that you look to the citizens of any impoverished citizen under a dictatorial type of a government, anyone, anywhere, even in this country, dealing with fear, depression, anxiety, homelessness, poverty. I ask that you look to them. For without them, we would not have an answer to where is God in all of this. We would not have an answer to where is love in all of this. So thank you again to all of them. God bless and Godspeed to the people of Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you. And so it is.